Welcome to the Council meeting of 3 December 2025. In the spirit of open, accessible and transparent government, Berrigan Shire Council's meetings are recorded. By speaking at a council meeting, members of the public agree to being recorded. Berrigan Shire Council accepts no liability for any defamatory, discriminatory or offensive remarks or gestures that are made during the course of the council meeting. Opinions expressed or statements made by individuals are the opinions or statements of those individuals and do not imply any form of endorsement by Berrigan Shire Council. Confidential matters of council will not be recorded. Recordings are protected by copyright and owned by Berrigan Shire Council. No part may be copied, recorded, reproduced or transmitted without the prior written consent of the CEO. Any recording is not and shall not be taken to be an official record of Berrigan Shire Council meetings or the discussion depicted therein. Only the official minutes may be relied upon as an official record of the meeting. A recording of the council meeting will be taken for administrative and minute preparation purposes only and is provided to the public for listening purposes to support council's statutory obligations. Berrigan Shire Council acknowledges the traditional custodians of the lands on which we live and thrive. We pay our respects to their elders, past, present and emerging. The people of these great nations, their spirits and ancestors will always remain with our waterways and lands. We have no apologies or leave of absence for today. Do we have any applications for leave of absence? No. Attendance via audio-visual link, we have Councillor Payne and Councillor Hannan. Do we have a mover to accept that? Councillor Natakoa, seconder Councillor Dennis, all in favour? Thank you, carried. Confirmation of previous minutes. The recommendation is that the minutes of the ordinary council meeting held in the council chamber on Wednesday 19 November 2025 be confirmed. Do we have a mover? Councillor Healy, seconder Councillor Brooker. All in favour of accepting those minutes? Thank you, carried. Disclosures of interest. Do we have any disclosures? I do have a disclosure in relation to item 8.5, which is a non-significant, well, I'd call it significant non-pecuniary. I'm the president of Barooga Advancement Group, so I will exit the meeting for that item and ask that the Deputy Mayor chairs. We've got no mayoral minutes and we have no reports of committees, so we're up to item 8.1. This is to receive and note correspondence for October 25 to November 25. Do we have a mover? Councillor Dennis, a seconder. Councillor Natakoa, all in favour of receiving and noting? Thank you, carried. 8.2 is our financial statements. The recommendation is that Council receive and note that no submissions were received in relation to the 24-25 annual financial statements, and having considered the reports presented by the Audit Office of New South Wales, adopt the 24-25 annual statements and the following reports: the engagement closing report, the report on the conduct of the audit report, and the audit opinions for the general purpose and special purpose financial statements. Do we have a mover? Councillor Stringer, a seconder. Councillor Dennis. Any questions or comments? All in favour of that recommendation? Thank you, carried. We're up to 8.3, which is the local government elections regulation. The recommendation is that Council note the proposed regulatory impact statement, or RIS, published by New South Wales Government in November 2025 and agree not to make a formal submission at this time. Do we have a mover? Councillor Hannan, a seconder. Councillor Payne, any questions or comments? All in favour of the recommendation? Thank you, carried. We're up to 8.4, which is a receive and note of the Council request report for November 2025 and endorsing the actions proposed in the officer response. Do we have a mover? Councillor Natakoa, a seconder. Councillor Healy, any questions or comments? All in favour of the recommendation? Thank you, carried. 8.5, I will ask the Deputy Mayor to take over and I'll vacate.
Thank you, Julia. Can everybody hear me okay? 8.5.
Excuse me, Mayor, can you just hold on for a second, please?
Yeah, I'm on that advancement committee as well. I didn't think about that at the time.
Councillor Booker is going to declare an interest as well. Okay, you can now proceed.
Thank you. 8.5, change to Barooga Advancement Group delegation. The recommendation that Council note the work done by the Barooga Cemetery Volunteer Group and expand the existing delegation to the Barooga Advancement Group to include care and maintenance of the Barooga Cemetery in accordance with Section 355 of the Local Government Act 1993. Have I got a mover? Councillor Natakawa. Have I got a seconder?
Councillor Stringer.
Thank you.
Councillor Stringer. Yep.
Any questions or comments?
The only question I have is, will that volunteer group then go under BAG and continue the work themselves? Is that? Yeah,
That will happen.
Okay. As opposed,
There'll be a subgroup of the Barooga Advancement Group.
cool. That sort of didn't want to shaft the volunteers and give more stuff
No.
to.
It's just
already-
formalising what they
Yeah.
do.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions or comments? No? All in favour of the recommendation? Thank you, carried. I will now hand back to Mayor Julia if someone could grab it, please.
Thank you, they're on their way back. Thank you, Councillor Payne.
Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. We're up to 8.6, which is the Audit, Risk and Improvement Committee minutes. The recommendation is that Council receive and note the minutes of the Audit, Risk and Improvement Committee held on 27 October 2025. Do we have a mover? Councillor Healy, a seconder. Councillor Stringer. Any questions or comments? All in favour of the recommendation? Thank you, carried. 8.7 is the Small Business Grants Program. The recommendation is that Council refer this proposal to increase the allocation by $20,000 for the Small Business Grants Program to a total of $40,000 for the 25-26 financial year. Do we have a mover? Councillor Dennis, a seconder. Councillor Hannan. Councillor Dennis, would you like to speak in favour of the recommendation?
I would, thank you. It's a great incentive to increase the small business grant, so something that's been taken up by the community, and it also fits so many areas that we have in our operational plan and strategic plan. So thank you.
Thank you. Would someone like to speak against? I'm speaking against, but only because I would like this delayed. When we asked for this to be brought back in December, I wanted to have a better handle on our budget position, and I'm informed that we won't have that until the January meeting. So I would speak against this at this time and instead propose that the matter be brought back to the January meeting along with a communications plan. So that's an alternative motion that I would put forward. So we vote on that one first, do we? Is that correct? No, sorry.
No, the motion for the chair is what was moved.
The first one? All right, and then we go to
The first one is, the first one was, sorry, the first one,
Sure.
Mayor, is before the chair. Council needs to debate that unless you wanted to move yours as an amendment. But you have foreshadowed a motion.
Yeah, I'll foreshadow, and we'll go to Councillor Hannan, who wishes to speak in favour.
Yeah, I'd like to speak in favour, and just noting the report, and you know, the council's had a few iterations around different grants to the community over a period of time with a lot of success, whether it's been the events program, whether it's been the small business grants. Whilst $20,000 is somewhat modest, it will go, and you know, noting the Mayor's comment around the budget position, but we can already see what that last $20,000, the impact it had on small businesses in our community, especially in the Tocumwal area. You know, small business is doing it tough. It is always the backbone of our economic activity in our towns. And I just think that a modest increase of $20,000, I'm sure the staff will be able to bring back where that $20,000 will be able to come from, and continue to support small business within our shire.
Anyone else wish to speak against? Or for? Councillor Natikoa?
Probably in line with you, Mayor, is just making sure that we can actually fund it. And that was probably, I agree with delaying it by a month to adding that extra additional funds, just so that we can make sure that we can actually comfortably fund it.
Yep.
Can I ask a question, please,
Councillor
Mayor?
Healy.
In the report, it said that conversations had happened with finance, and there is money available for this extension of the grant. That's how I say it. Addition to. Is that enough reassurance that we're good to go? I don't know how formal those discussions are or where that comes from. If anyone can help me with that.
So through you, Mayor, myself and another officer have had meeting with the Finance Department to see where the funds would actually come from and to see that it can be appropriately allocated. We did put it within the report where the funds are going to come from on the basis that it would change with the QBRS one.
Councillor Stringer?
Putting it off for a month isn't going to make that much difference, is it? I can't see what the problem is by putting it off for a month. Being small business, I'd take the money at the drop of that, but it's got to come from somewhere, so I think we need to find out exactly where first. So.
I'll have the final word and just say that I think it's prudent to have discipline about these matters, no matter the value. If it's not budgeted, we don't do it unless there's a good reason, and I just don't feel it's trying to be fiscally responsible that there's quite enough. There's nearly enough, there's just not quite enough. And as you say, Councillor Stringer, it's a month. We're not against it in principle.
No.
Councillor Healy.
Yeah, thank you. One more question. Just with regards to your foreshadowed motion around having a communications plan, do we need to be looking at more formal criteria, or there was some questions around there's more money, so there's more scrutiny that will be under around how those funds are allocated to people, or are we happy with what's already available?
The communications plan was that I'd like to see some more photos and testimonials and, getting a bit back.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Do we need to be having more structure around the criteria or of the grants, given that it's doubling in?
We'll throw to the director.
So through you, online through the small businesses grants, we outline to all of them what you need to do to apply and how to complete the application. But as part of that, we also then have the criteria of how officers will make the assessment, and it does have a capped amount. So for argument's sake, we're not going to give all of the funds to a business. It's about making sure that that's shared throughout the community.
So I could apply multiple times, but it would be capped at the amount that I could.
You can apply multiple times, but even the policy says that you're unlikely to be rewarded a couple of times within the same financial year.
Gotcha. Thank you.
All right, so we'll put the initial recommendation. We have a foreshadowed motion as well. So the original recommendation is that council refer the proposal to increase the allocation by $20,000 for the small business grants program to a total of $40,000 for the 25-26 financial year. So all in favour, I'll get you to raise your hands clearly so I can count. Okay, and against? Okay, that failed. So we have the foreshadowing motion, which is that the recommendation be brought back to the 2026 council meeting, outlining our budget position, along with a communications plan for promoting both the program and its outcomes. Yep. Yep. Do we have a seconder? Councillor Stringer? Okay. Any further discussion in relation to that full shadow? No? Okay. All in favour of that? Again, hands up. Carried. Thank you. All right, 8.8, the New South Wales Sustainable Communities Program. The recommendation is that Council allocate funding of $12,800 plus GST to have a grant application prepared for the New South Wales Sustainable Communities Program. Do we have a mover? Councillor Hannan, a seconder. Councillor Dennis. Okay, Councillor Hannan, did you want to speak in favour of that?
I'll reserve the right to speak, thank you.
Yep. Councillor Dennis?
Although it's a lot to outlay for preparation for grants, it's essential to be grant ready, I think, both for now and for the future, and the foundational work that will be done in preparing grants, I think, is essential for the concept plan.
I have a question. What is the value of the grant we would be seeking? Approximately?
Depends on the information provided by the consultant, but we would seek to see what the total cost of the works are and actually roll it all in to seek that we apply for all of it. So we're hopefully talking potentially millions.
Okay. Yeah.
We
Will we be going to, sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, with those grants, I know sometimes you can actually roll in the cost of the grant, like the time allocated for the grant writing. Would that be part of it as well, that you would look to cover that cost in the grant?
So as part of our application, we would be including that. We'd also be including project management and all the preparation of the documents required and the delivery of the whole project. So nowadays, New South Wales grants are a bit more open to actually making sure it's a complete application to cover all costs.
Yeah, thank you.
How have we landed at this $12,800 figure?
It was a quote obtained from the people prepared to undertake the work on our behalf.
It's excessive.
If they're successful,
No,
yes.
it is excessive.
Oh.
Seriously, do we go for one quote or?
Based on the cost of what was received, yes, but this is somebody that's previously been successful with doing similar work.
Personally, I think we should be going for more than a single quote. And if I gave a quote for consultancy work this week to that value and it was over 40 hours work. This is not 40 hours work, in my opinion. Anyway, any other questions or comments? No? All right, well, we'll put that to the vote. All in favour? Carried. All right, 8.8, that was 8.8, sorry, 8.9 is a request to use the council seal. The council approved the use of the council seal on the letter for Mon Natural Foods Proprietary Limited to support the current export application in November 2025. Do we have a mover? Councillor Stringer, a seconder. Councillor Brooker, any questions or comments? No, all in favour of the recommendation? Thank you, carried. I've gone past 8.10, good work. 8.10, the recommendation is that council support the officer's recommendation to send the planning proposal to the Department for Planning, Industry and Environment for gateway determination for their confirmation of administrative requirements based on the following: A, support for the intent of the planning proposal in principle; B, support for staff to lodge the planning proposal requesting a gateway determination and request to exercise the functions of a local plan-making authority under sections of the Environmental Planning and Assessment Act, respectfully for the review of the Berrigan LEP, support for staff to respond and manage any recommendations received prior to lodgement of the planning proposal and edit documentation accordingly. Pending a successful gateway determination, support staff to edit the planning proposal, address recommendations, including publicly exhibiting the proposal and supporting information, and organising an independently chaired public hearing pursuant to the LGA at the end of the exhibition. Pending a successful gateway determination, delegating authority to the Director, Community and Development to finalise the planning proposal without further report to Council based on any feedback received. And F, delegate authority to the Director, Community and Development to finalise the planning proposal process without further report to the Council if objections are not received during the public exhibition or public hearing, or if objections are received during public exhibition or public hearing, require staff to lodge a report on the outcomes of the exhibition, any proposed amendments to finalise the planning proposal at a council meeting. Do we have a mover? Councillor Natikoa, a seconder. Councillor Healy, Director, Community and Development, did you want to say a few words before we throw to questions and comments?
If I may, this is where probably bureaucracy has gone mad. This has been previously submitted to Council and Council previously has endorsed it. The document, as you submit to the department, then goes through another reiteration. They're asking us now basically to come back to Council to have the amended version that they've reviewed, adopted by Council prior to resubmitting back to the department to initiate the planning proposal. So it's a sort of vicious circle because they're requiring us to make changes. We're making the changes, but they want us to re-adopt it.
Okay, any questions or comments? Councillor Dennis.
Just the questions, and I noticed that there is consideration of other things that affect the LEP, and the water studies or the flood studies is one of them. Having attended the consultation with areas that could potentially be flooded, and that information has all been updated and currently in the process of being updated again, is that a consideration in this document as well?
It's a consideration, but pending the actual flood study and the initiation, and if it's adopted, we would then need to undertake a new planning proposal to alter the maps associated with that land from the existing flood study that's out on consultation and what we're proposing in the current LEP. None of the areas we're seeking to rezone are currently affected. Doesn't mean we don't amend the mapping later on, but at the moment in time for what we're proposing under this, there is no impact.
Any other questions or comments? Councillor Booker.
Sorry, I just have a note in the report. Once it gets down to Tocumwal on page 272, and it's got the maps, and then it says proposed changes, and it continues on throughout the report from there. It says implementation, so it says Tocumwal proposed MU1 mixed zone use, and then it says proposed change, implementation of an E1 local centre zone. And that continues throughout the whole, from Murray Street, Mill Highway.
Can you just refer to the page again, sorry?
Page 272. And it continues after there, referring to the stuff from Finley throughout the different townships.
And can you clarify your query?
So, on Finley's, that proposed change related to the exact area you were talking about, but this one, the next page down as well, proposed change to R1 general residential zone, and it has two pictures. Then it says the proposed changes are the implementation of the E1 local central zone, but you're changing it to an R1.
Sorry, so the map actually illustrates it's only a very small section within the middle of Tocumwal that's actually proposed to be changed, but it's not highlighted in red, so that's an error, so we'll need to pick that up. Thank you.
Yeah, but it's just, like the E1 local centre zone, and that goes all the way through Baruga and that as well.
Yes, so within all of our commercial areas of each of our 4 towns, we're proposing to introduce that zone, but the map should have the red highlighted section around that area for the township of Tocumwal.
Okay, any other questions or comments? Right, we'll put to that to the vote. All in favour of the recommendation? Thank you, carried. Right, we're up to 8.11, which is the pedestrian access and mobility plan to Berrigan and Finley townships. The recommendation is that council adopt the pedestrian access and mobility plan for the Berrigan and Finley townships. Do we have a mover? Councillor Natikoa, seconded Councillor Healy. Any questions or comments? No. All in favour of the recommendation? Thank you, carried. We don't have any notice of motion or questions with notice, so could I get someone to move us into closed council, please? Councillor Natikoa, seconded Councillor Payne. All in favour? Thank you. We're in closed council. We're returning from closed council. We discussed a confidential commercial matter that we can't disclose. We also considered the membership of the Audit, Risk and Improvement Committee, and council agreed to extend the tenure of Angela Urquhart for a further 12 months to 13 December 2026, and congratulations to Angela for that. We'll now move to motions and questions without notice. Do we have any? Councillor Stringer.
Just, is the council going to finance the Christmas decorating of Berrigan and Finley and Barooga and Tocumwal this year?
CEO?
Just looking over at my colleagues here, looks, I'm getting some nods. We are, I believe, is that correct?
Each year we've committed a dollar amount to each of those towns.
Yeah.
It's accommodated within the existing budget on the basis we're working on last year's budget. So, but we'd need to see how that's then distributed to each of the towns. But we could come back to you with a report if you wanted to know the amount, but by then you would not get the money. So the assumption was that we were providing the same amounts again.
Which was, I can't remember what.
It varies on each town.
It was 2, wasn't it?
It varies.
Did it?
We could provide, just by distribution to councillors, what last year's allocation was, I'm sure.
Why don't we publish something saying we've given this money to all the towns? Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
We could do that.
Same amount as last year?
Okay.
We are willing to accept more if council.
There was an understanding with some of them, though, that we were providing that amount on the basis that they were purchasing items
Yes.
that were going to be continuously used. So I'm not prepared to say it'd be the same amounts yet without finding out some of the previous agreements. Because if we continue to keep on providing the same amount, we're, in my mind, building up a huge collection.
I don't think they're actually being used for decorations. They're being used to pay for the Christmas carols.
We used ours.
In a town, yes, but in others, no.
Oh. We
That's
used ours
okay.
to pay for the stage and everything for the
Yeah.
carols.
Yeah. Yeah. Councillor Payne?
Hi, I did ask in an email to Lynn and Merrin in regards to this yesterday, and the funding, the committees have to apply for the funding and send through an invoice for payment, and then they send through the acquittal of the funding by January for it to be paid. Not everyone followed these instructions last year, so not everyone got funding. So I think we need to look at how we're explaining this to those committees on how the funding works on receiving it. But yeah, they're meant to put through their. They're having trouble finding some information of the acquittals in the RMS records management system, so I'm not sure where they're at with that. Hopefully all the committees can get some money this year.
Thank you, Councillor Payne. Any other questions or motions without notice? No, thank you. Okay, we're up to the Mayor's...
Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
I just have one. Volunteer committee annual reports. When do we get those? Because we didn't get one this year.
I think we got some. We just didn't get all.
Did we? Okay. Thanks.
Is that a question on notice to check the rest?
I think having a look back through previous years of council documents, I think it was all put in one report. That was what I was sort of looking at.
Yeah, I know, for example, the Barooga Advancement Group annual delegations has not come up. There will be others. Yeah. No, usually there's a report that lists the new committee.
Oh, okay,
Yep.
I think it was more on how much they
And
each
their
of these
funds.
committees had. Yeah, their funds.
Yep. Any other questions? No? Okay, we'll move to the Mayor's report. So, only a couple of weeks since our last meeting. So 20 November, I went to Tokemall and did a tour at Strawberry Fields site, and they were well organised, had a crowd of 15,000, so good trade in the town of Tokemall and surrounds during that period. It's good. 21st of November, the CEO and I met with the Moira Shire, with one of their administrators, Susan Benediker, and with Matt Morgan, their CEO, to discuss our project in relation to dialysis chairs. And since that time, last Thursday, the Minister for Health in Victoria has announced they will be opening a dialysis centre in Cobram, which is a very big first step, but it's not enough. So we will be including further requests, which are being heard, to the New South Wales Government to actually, I won't say what I'm thinking right now, to actually do something. And we would like some chairs in Tokemall and Finley, and I'd also like a bus for our tourists as well. So we'll just keep getting that on the agenda, but that was very good news indeed. 25th of November, I travelled to Canberra and I met with the Communications Minister's Office and the Department of Communications. There was some confidential information we discussed that I will brief the council separately on that. However, it was a very productive meeting, talked about the Universal Outdoor Mobile Obligation and the two quite distinct issues relating to digital connectivity that we experience. The on-farm issues is one component, and when these laws come in, it will resolve the telephone and text issues that they have on the farms. The second issue is the capacity issue, particularly in Tokemall, but it does happen in our other towns, although not to the same degree. Again, I will go through the details, but while this obligation does not apply to digital services such as FPOS payments, it's possible that the upgrades that will be required to meet the legislative requirements will mean that that will come along. I don't know if it was a coincidence, but we received, probably hours after I walked out of the Minister's office, confirmation that Telstra will be upgrading capacity of the towers in Tokemall, which is a very good Christmas present, though I am irritated by the lack of notice. But, you know, you don't look a gift horse in the mouth. So for anyone listening at home, if you live in Tokemall, you have a Telstra phone, your phone will not work from Monday to Thursday on the Telstra network and parts of Friday next week. We do have some guidance on how you might be able to connect to Wi-Fi calling if you're at home. Please understand that 000 calls will go through to other towers. They should work. We will be calling on the community, and this will be part of our advocacy, to report to us any issues they experience after this upgrade. If it's not enough, we will continue to knock on doors. One of the agreements I had with the Minister's office is that we will keep a register, and the Minister herself would like to see that register if there are issues, and she will do what needs to be done to get this done for our community. So I've not said anything I shouldn't in that, but that was a very, very good meeting. 1st of December, earlier this week, I met with Tony Tranter, the Sporties' new CEO, about various things going on at Sporties and their work with council, the Barooga swimming pool and all those sorts of things. And yesterday, on that issue of the mobile tower work and the phone issue next week, Lynn and I went to visit as many businesses as we could in Tokemall. We went door knocking and if they were actually serving customers and had a queue, we did not go in, but we went into most of the businesses to let them know that there would be no Telstra phones next week, to speak to their banks if their FPOS run on SIM cards, all those sorts of things. I would say roughly 50% either didn't know or weren't sure about their own arrangements, so it was a good prompt to make sure that everybody needs to know. The doctor surgery and the pharmacy were very interested, post office, all of them will spread the word to make sure that people are across. So it was a good exercise to do. It did take longer than I anticipated, but we did it anyway. Today I'm here. So would someone like to move my report? Councillor Natakawa, a seconder. Councillor Dennis, all in favour in accepting that? Thank you, carried. I will go to the Deputy Mayor next on screen. Your report.
Thank you. Nothing for me this month.
Thank you. Councillor Hannan.
No, nothing for me either.
Thank you. Councillor Natakawa.
Nothing to note in what I have done, but I would like to just shout out to Strawberry Fields. We as Food Share were able to collect around 800 kilos of their food at the end of their event that has now been distributed between Berrigan and Moira Shire to make sure that food went to as quickly as possible to where it was needed. So just a thank you to them for that generous donation.
So thank you. Councillor Dennis.
Same, I wanted to acknowledge Strawberry Fields on an amazing event and the business and that it brings to the town. Also wanted to acknowledge that the Tokemore Chocolate Factory and the Gold Award for tourism. And also I've noticed that the Tote Flyer and the Berrigan information that's getting out via social media has increased, and it's been absolutely fantastic for those communication channels to be open again and see that. And that was it for me. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Stringer.
Sorry, Toke Flyer, we have a new editor. So that's where our mass improvement has been. Interesting with the Telstra thing, I had a phone call from Jenny last week for over half an hour asking me to spread the word and explain and about the whole process and to keep her informed. They've asked us if we would run it through the flyer, but it's going to happen before the flyer comes out. But we will put the result through the flyer. And then I had a phone call from Steve, her second in command, basically doing the same thing. So it sounds like finally they might be serious about doing something. Yeah. And so we've just got to wait and see. On another thing, but not as a councillor, again, the TCDC, we've just paid, well, we're just about to pay out $2,000 for fish to be added to the river in January, in early January, with in cohorts with the fishing club and somebody else. There'll be $6,000 worth of fish added to the river in early January at Tokemore. So I'll keep you informed on that.
Excellent. Thank you, Councillor Stringer. Councillor Healy.
Thank you, Mayor. No attended meetings, but I would just like to remind everybody that we've got our Christmas events coming up in all of our towns. So Berrigan's is this Friday, Finley's is the Saturday before Christmas. I don't want to give a date. I don't know if you could add the Barooga dates
14th of December.
or if Tokemall has
I've
theirs.
fixed ours. It's
on the Sunday, the day after Finley, so there's no clash. So if you really love carols, you can get to all 4 towns.
Yeah.
And, you know, they're all free events that community can come together and just be together before we head into the Christmas season.
Providing Shire help finances.
Yeah.
Thank you, Councillor Healy. And Councillor Brooker.
Yeah, no, very quiet from me. Unfortunately, due to other commitments, I have not done a lot.
Just before I close, you stole my thunder, Councillor Healy. No, all good. Just want to wish everyone Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, safe time with families. Please do make time in community and visit those wonderful events that Council supports some of, but not all apparently. But we'll publish whatever support we give. So yes, Merry Christmas to everybody. And Mark, could I please ask you to pass that on to the staff? We appreciate the work they've done throughout 2025 and hope they all have a good, well-earned rest over the break. And I'd like to thank our councillors for all your hard work during this year also. So Thank you, everyone. Quick reminder, anyone on Telstra next week won't work, look into it. We'll close our council meeting of 3 December at 10:33 a.m. Thanks, everybody.
How can I help? Are we needed justice?